Another day at the hot springs, baby. Thanks for joining me. The LifeRegenerator. Oh man, I'm relaxed. Had to wait for a couple of brothers to take off before I could make a vid, so I was just chilling with these guys. And it was pretty funny. The dude was like, man, I wish I had a recorder up here. And I was like, don't worry, man. As soon as you leave, I'm going to start a video. What was I talking about? You know, the same thing I always talk about. I never shut up about it. You know, his mom's having Alzheimer's disease and lung cancer and stuff like that. And it was just like, you hear me say the same thing over and over again, you know. I know there's a lot more to it. I want everyone to know that I'm humble, and I want everyone to know that I'm not, I know that I see the ego. It's so clear to see that there's an ego here. And I'm trying my best not to pretend like to be a know-it-all, or that I'm better than anybody else in the raw food movement. So I'm kind of dropping out of the raw food movement, and I'm going to start a new movement, which is the fruit and vegetable and herb movement. That way I don't have to be like, because a really cool dude was saying the other day, you know, that this such and such teacher has done more for this movement than anybody else. And I'm like, the movement of what? Like, you know, the raw food movement? I mean, the raw food movement is as old as life on this planet. Every living thing has consumed another living thing for its food. So, you know, we don't want to give credit. Nobody owns health, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's really common sense. It's just that nobody goes around and does too much lecturing about it, about fruits and vegetables. But yeah, you know, that's my thing. It's working for me right now, and due to the nature of trying to just be humble and help people, I feel like I could probably help people the most by simply getting everyone possible to eat more fruits and vegetables, which was basically what the conversation was today with these gentlemen that were here. And it was the same old thing, you know. And he's got a juicer sitting on the shelf collecting dust. So if you got a juicer on the shelf collecting dust, I really want to encourage you to get that out. You know, I know a lot of people don't believe in the juicing, that there's something wrong with it, or you might lose your teeth. But don't worry, even when I do a juice fast, I still eat, you know, at least a couple stalks of celery every day for my teeth. I think that's a good thing to do if you're on a juice feast or a juice fast, is to keep the teeth strong and mineralized, to chew on a couple of stalks of celery to keep the teeth strong and the bones and stuff like that. I will be doing some teaching on the teeth. I'm not quite ready yet to do that, and I've got my reasons why. I'm still waiting for some answers from the universe on that, but I'll tell you what I teach about it is a lot different than everybody else, only in the sense that I'm more of a type that understands not only the consumption of the living foods, but the absorption of the living foods through the osmosis of the GI tract, and how we can keep that clean and maximize, you know, the absorption. But not only that, very rarely do we ever get a chance to hear from anyone about utilization issues, which are mostly glandular in you know, in nature, as far as the thyroid goes and the adrenals. You know, I always talk about those two particular glands. But you've also got the thymus, which is really the immune system, and of course the pineal gland, which, you know, you've got the pineal gland is generally the master regulator of basically the pituitary and the pineal kind of work together as a synapse in the brain to direct and regulate the rest of the endocrine glands. The main thing about those two things is to get enough sleep, for one thing, and also to refrain from eating foods or lathering on substances on the skin. Also, I think the shampoos and stuff have quite a few chemicals in them that easily soak through the skin, enter into the brain, and can calcify the tissues in the pituitary and pineal glands, which obviously will screw you up big time. So what you want to do is, you know, eat the living foods, um, and then that'll keep the glands and all the tissues in the body soft, pliable, and also it will allow the tissues to function optimally, allow nutrients in and metabolic waste out. As soon as we start calcifying the tissues, which is an anionic condition, which generally is referred to on this channel as a acidic condition. It has a lot of different names, but in chemistry it's anionic, it's binding. If you're all bound up with hydrogenated oils and long chain high heated fats and long carbon bonds from the processed breads, starches, and cakes, you're going to get some calcification. You're going to have a lowering of the functionability of the cells. So again, the fruits and vegetables is just a simple way to eat so that we don't obstruct. We have to eat because we've been programmed for it. And most people aren't ready to just do a 45-day water fast to deal with their crap. But if I'm ready for a water fast, but I've been on raw foods for 9 years. I wouldn't suggest anybody jump into a water fast, but I got to tell you, I don't think that you're going to be able to, you're not going to have any detox like you are from a water fast. But I wouldn't jump straight into it, and those are the higher levels. And I wouldn't even really do the water fasting so much for the soft tissues, but as a more of a at the levels of consciousness. With the soft tissues, I believe you should drink lots of green vegetable juices, smoothies, salads, and whole fruits, and get some systemic energy, get some antioxidants inside the cells, so that when you do get called to water fasting, if you're going to continue on this journey, it will tell you to do that sooner or later to get to the next level. Mostly at the level of consciousness, where you tend to use food to distract yourself from things that may be going on at a more subtle level. That would be very beneficial to look at those things and to process them so that they can be made aware of. And awareness generally is what causes something to just disappear. If we won't look at those things, then they'll generally stay in the unconscious, and they'll always be there, and they'll create fears and obstructions in the flow of the higher levels of the energy. So we're working at this on every single level. The physical protoplasm, quite easily, we want to eat organic fruits, vegetables, and herbs, and then in the winter, fall and winter, consume some nuts depending on your geographical location, for sure. And so, yeah, we don't want to pretend like we have sometimes people live in the tropics and they might be like a health teacher and they say just only eat fruit and leafy green vegetables. Well, that's fine and dandy, but when it gets down to be 11 degrees, you know, in Quebec, Canada, or whatever, Seattle, Washington, or even Alaska for that matter, we've got to do things a little differently. We've got to use a little bit of common sense. We've got to make sure we keep our mind open. So let me work a little bit more on the tooth thing, and I'll meditate on it a little bit more. But I'll give you a hint. Get the thyroid functioning. And I got news for you. It's really can be tough to get the thyroid moving, to loosen up stagnant tissues in the upper thoracic area. Because I know personally, I've been doing this juicing and fruit thing for several months now, and the thyroid is just beginning to pop, just beginning to move. Anyways, I want to encourage you to eat lots of fruits and vegetables, and to be prepared to process that which is obstructing your higher levels of consciousness. So thank you very much for joining the Life Regenerator.